Hello, welcome to another episode of Sound Talk Show. Today I'm going to talk about Emacs history, the real history of Emacs. How much did Richard Stallman do? Okay, so that is one topic, and the other topic is I'm gonna talk about we're gonna code some JavaScript live, coding a keyboard layout remap function. Okay, hello guys, hello Sarah, hello Philip, hello. So let's begin. So my keyboards. So this is Glove 80, fantastic. This is Ultimate Hacking Keyboard 2, fantastic. Okay, you see they have a functional light, so the color of the keyboard changes depending on their function. And here is the svalboard, svalboard, data hand. So you can check out my videos. I have videos for all of them. Especially, I like to recommend svalboard. I'm still learning it. Okay, let's start coding Emacs. Let's talk about Emacs. What I have been doing, the Emacs history. So let me show you my screen. And Emacs, I'm using soft-like keys, and on the pink window, let's move it here. The pink window shows all my command calls and the keystroke on the left. Okay, can you see it? Yes. So if you have questions, post it now. Okay, so I'm gonna answer. Hello, Phillips. Hey man, I used some math input many years ago. It's the best. Thank you. What's your thoughts on Happy Hacking Keyboard? Okay, Happy Hacking Keyboard is shit. Okay, if you want to know my opinion, I'm surprised. Is that a troll question? Or if because I was famous for flaming happy hacking keyboard. So you can see it. Go to Xali keyboard blog, computer keyboards, normal keyboards, and here is so they have a new version of happy hacking with Bluetooth, came out about 2019, 5 years ago. But my original flame of happy hacking keyboard is here. The idiocy of happy hacking keyboard. Happy hacking keyboard, it has a quote behind it. Like a lot of people, they'll just say how great it is. In fact, it's one of the worst keyboard. Okay, many people like the topper switch. That's a switch mechanism. Many people like it. Okay, that's kind of debatable. Okay, but many people love it. But however, the happy hacking keyboard layout is the worst, idiotic, like useless, meritless crap happy hacking keyboard. Part of the reason it became famous, kind of popular, and developed a cult in Western society. Okay, this is kind of important. In Western society, it developed a kind of a cult, is because for several reasons. First of all, it's from Japan. Okay, it's from Japan. The Western American society kind of have a affinity with Japan, not China. Well, partly because political reasons, so affinity with Japan, and plus Japanese anime, all that. So anime, that's a big part too. So part of the reason happy hacking keyboard has a kind of a cult in Western American societies because it's from Japan and very expensive. Over $200 and $300 for the latest Bluetooth version. Like, God, let me show it again. So, Happy Hacking Keyboard Hybrid Type S. Okay, and let's just show it. So, Happy Hacking Keyboard. So this is a new version. It costs like over $300, $350, $300. Okay, now so it's now $300. Crap, $300 for a keyboard that doesn't have many keys, and so many reasons. Okay, and the left hand side and right hand side, okay, now they are asymmetric wait, did they fix that? Anyway, so, and, not many, you don't have modifier keys much. Anyway, so the reason it developed a code is because, first of all, it's from Japan and very expensive. Okay, that's one reason, two reasons. And also because it has this particular layout that's somewhat, to the Unix hackers' liking. More specifically, it's got a control key, you see, right where the caps lock is. Okay, now many Unix fanatics, another part of the reason Happy Hacking has code in USA is because it's got the word hacking. The Unix type of people, Unix hackers, this type of people, they enjoy the word hacking and the concept of hacking very much. So so that's part of the reason. Okay, the part of the reason it's a code. And then you see the control key to the left of A. So they essentially removed the caps lock, which is actually a good thing. But it became, it's a complex issue. So whether, what position should control key be for the optimal efficiency or hand health, that's one question. Okay, there's a lot of details. That depends on whether you are on laptop or whether you are on full keyboard, or you can also use the palm control method to palm press control method. Okay, like that. You search my web blog, you search my Xali keyboard, you'll find, palm how to press control key. Okay, I made this technique popular. It is me. I made this popular about 15 years ago. This article is dated 2022 because I moved it from my Emacs blog, but it was originally in 2013 and before. So I made this technique popular somewhat in Emacs community. So you use your palm to press the control. So these are photos. Some of them people send it to me. So for example, this one people send it to me. I think two of them. So anyway, palm press control. So anyway, back to Happy Hacking. So Happy Hacking. So let's go back. Okay, let's go back to the Happy Hacking keyboard. Okay, the idiocy of Happy Hacking keyboard. Okay, so from Japan, and has the word hacking in it, and the layout. So this layout is supposed to be the Unix people's layout. For example, they have control. Lots of idiocy. For example, they don't have the backspace key. On a normal keyboard. Can you see it? Let me show you my. Can you see the picture of my? Okay, let me show it. Okay, so you can see on a normal keyboard you have the backspace here. Okay, which I programmed it to be the. You cannot see it, but now you can see. I programmed it to be the toggle maximize window. Okay, so this backspace key. Happy Hacking, they don't have that key. So over here, so they have a delete key, which is forward delete. Okay, why is that? Because on Unix machines, you can do backward delete the previous character by Control D. Okay, so it's idiotic all the way. So first of all, they put control here. Okay, that's acceptable. It's actually better if the control key is on the corner, so you can palm press. But now they put the control on the left of A, so you have to pinky it. Okay, it's kind of okay. Okay, so that's one thing. But then they remove the other control key on the other keyboard on the other side, so there's only one control. So when you want to press control, you have to Control D, for example. You strain your fingers into that. So they only have one control key, no backspace, and they instead of backspace they put a delete key, which is basically almost never used on Mac operating system, on Windows operating system. I don't think it's actually used much in the Unix operating system neither, or Linux. But of course, and by the way, you cannot program these keys. None of you can. It's not programmable. Okay, the original Happy Hacking for like 20 years with the code. The new version, the Happy Hacking Professional Hybrid, costs $300. This one is programmable. Okay, so, but on the classic Happy Hacking, you cannot program it. So lots of problems, but they have a code. You know, these people, they go online, they'll say, another thing. They don't have physical arrow keys. That's most important. So if you play Pac-Man, you cannot play it. You cannot play it while eating pizza, okay? So you have to, so how do you press the arrow key? You have to hold down, extreme idiotic, okay? You have to hold down this, you see, on the right corner, you have a FN key. Then the arrow key is like that. It's like Lorentz, you know, the diamond shape. Extreme idiotic. Extreme, but it's got a code, you know, for the, you know, not so much today. So I think today with the, you know, so with the popularization of ergonomic keyboard like Glove 80 or Kinesis, or lots of do-it-yourself mechanical keyboards and tons of it, you know. So Happy Hacking, the code kind of died out, I would say. I would claim. That's my experience. But from, let's say, 1999 to 2015, Happy Hacking is like a code, you know, like every time you talk about keyboards, there are keyboard fans will promote it. And okay, so let's, I want to talk about Emacs history. Okay, so let's talk about that topic. So let me talk about briefly. So today's video, I think 40 minutes. So it's amazing, you know, I've been using Emacs since 1998. Yeah, 1998. Okay, so after about 26 years, today I actually seriously looked into the history of Emacs. What I want to know is just how much Richard Stallman did. You know, can he claim, you know, he claimed he's the creator of Emacs. Can we accept that as reasonable? So actually today I spent like a whole day to look into seriously in a like historian way. So I'll just tell you, you know, directly, you know, get rid of the suspense. I think he deserves it. Okay, so we can say, you know, history is usually complex. Many inventions or software that, you know, many inventions are created by different people, and even back then we don't know, you know, this concept doesn't exist, things like that. So it's fairly hairy. But overall, I think, you know, it's correct. I mean, it's acceptable to say that Richard Stallman created Emacs. Okay, let me give you a brief outline. Okay, so if you want to know the details, you can read my articles, History of Emacs, Who Truly Created Emacs. Okay, let me show you my Emacs blog. So, you know, so that's one article. Then there is another article, a video by James Gosling, who basically says that Richard Stallman stole his Gosling Emacs, and which became GNU Emacs. Okay, that's one perspective. Okay, that's kind of true. Again, you know, history is fairly complicated. So that's James Gosling, the guy who created Java. You know, a big guy, super coder. And there's Daniel Weinreb. These are the people who are the, you know, who are around when at MIT lab, or, you know, when in 1976 They are the people who are doing a lot Lisp and kind of together created Emacs. Okay, so let me give you a brief history. So these are the articles. So basically, Emacs, the origin of Emacs is a bunch of key macro packages over the text editor called Teco. Okay, so let me just go to the summary part. So one of the great resource, if you want just a simplified version, you can go to Jamie Zorinsky. This is another controversial guy, Jamie Zorinsky. I have a fight with him. He was the person I respected a lot, but about 6-7 years ago, I have a fight with him over politics, over the Hillary Clinton versus Trump. He's kind of nasty. I mean, not nasty, but he's a, kind of controversial. So since then, I don't like him so much. He's like, anyways, I mean, he banned me on my Twitter, on the Twitter. He blocked me after one exchange. I wasn't aggressive, but after one exchange or two, he blocked me on Twitter. So I have a blog about it. If you search for Xali Jamie Zorinsky, JWZ, that's the acronym he goes by. Back in those days, usually these people go by acronyms. For example, Guy Steele, he's a creator of Scheme and one of the designer of Java. He's a big guy. So Guy Steele goes by GLS. Richard Stallman goes by RMS, well known. Daniel Weinreb is the co-founder of Symbolics, one of the first company that creates Lisp machine during the AI era of 1976 to 1980s, throughout 1980s. Lisp, that's AI, began AI. So Daniel Weinreb, David A. Moon, he's also a giant in the Lisp community. So he is also one of the creator of Emacs, the original keyboard macros. All these people, they participated in creating the key macro on the Teco editor, which eventually became Emacs kind of. Then there are several versions. Okay, I'll go into that. And Ed, this guy I don't know much. Charles Franklin, I don't know much. Ed Schralenberg, okay, I don't know much. And there's Earl Killian, I don't know much. And there's Eugene Cicerelli, I don't know much. All these people created Emacs, okay. There's Bob Frankston, I don't know much. And there's John Cope. Anyway, they all use acronyms, a lot of them back then. So anyway, my point is that, okay, so let me just go to the summary. So you go to Jamie Zorinsky's, he's got one of the earliest history blog written in 1999, okay? Jamie Zorinsky, you probably heard of. He is one of the primary coder of Emacs, which is the first kind of free software fork, in a unfriendly way. So you have GNU Emacs versus Emacs. Emacs is far more superior than GNU Emacs because I was using it. I have a choice. Emacs is much better. I have an article on that too. So if you search my go to Xali Emacs blog, search for Emacs, you'll find it. So Jamie Zorinsky, you might have heard because he's on, on TV, there's a show called The Hackers or something, which documents the kind of the origin of the .net, .com days, the rise of the website around 1999, which I was part of, of that that era. .com. So Jamie Zorinsky is well known for creating. He's the one who wrote the Netscape browser. Today is known as Firefox. Netscape browser for the Unix version. Okay. So anyway, lots of history. But anyways, so he has a blog, so you can kind of get the outline of what's going on. So basically, in the beginning, 1976, so there was the TECO editor, TECO. Then people write key macros on top of it. So they are known as Tmax and TechMac. Okay, there are two of them. I think there's more. And these macros are created by Guy Steele, Dave Moon, and Richard Greenbolt. I think he spelled the name incorrectly. But anyway, let's go to his website so you can see. Let me just show his website. Let's go to it. Yeah, okay, so here is Jamie Zawinski's website on the history of Emacs. So the Richard Greenbolt guy is also a big guy because he is a founder of the other Lisp machine company. Okay, so anyway, TECO, keyboard macros, these people created it. So it's a mess because, different people created different macros. It's very powerful, but, becoming a mess. So they started to think about, merge them all together into one single unified system. So Guy Steele is a guy who began it, okay, in 1976. Then after a month or two, about 1 month or two, basically Richard Stallman took over, meaning that he wrote a lot of code and he became the main coder for it. So 1976. And also all the other people, lots of these original, macro creators, they are also part of it. They contributed, they debugged, they're all part of it. So Richard Stallman, that's the first thing he did in terms of who created Emacs. So Guy Steele began it. Before that there's TechMac, Tmax. Then Guy Steele tried to unify it into one. Then Richard Stallman, pretty much in a month or two, he became the main guy. So merged them. So and Richard Stallman is and this Emacs is not the Emacs we know today. Okay, it's not, because there's no Emacs Lisp yet. They are just key macros on the TECO system, TECO editor. Okay, so that's 1976. That's one of the things Richard Stallman credit to him. Then also 1976. Daniel Weinreb created I. Back then they are into these so-called recursive acronyms, which is idiotic, like GNU, GNU. What does it mean? GNU is not Unix, very idiotic. And this I means I is not Emacs. Okay, anyway, so Daniel Weinreb, he wrote it on MIT Lisp machine in Lisp. So this is the first Emacs written in Lisp. Okay, then I became ZY and became ZMax on this machine, on Symbolics Lisp machine. So that's a lot of history. But so 1976 and also 1978, the Bernie Greenberg created Multics Emacs on the Multics operating system. Now these are history, beyond me. So I was born in 1968, so in Taiwan. So I don't know, I started to use Emacs in 1998. So even 20 years before me. So Multics Emacs running on Multics operating system. So then James Gosling created Gosling Emacs written in C. That's the first Emacs running on Unix, 1981. So this Xi, this Multics Emacs, this Gosling Emacs, they are not key macros on TECO editor, They are actual editors by themselves, So you have you have Multics Emacs, you have Gosling Emacs, They are on different operating systems. full editor, and 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 they all have Lisp except Gosling Emacs. He created Mark Lisp, which is like Lisp syntax, but it's not actually Lisp. There's no list in Mark Lisp. Okay, so 1976, 1981, 1978. Okay, then in 1985, about 3 or 4 years after all this, Richard Stallman first released publicly GNU Emacs. Now, at first, it borrowed code from Gosling Emacs, basically, because back then, copyright on software wasn't, people don't know what that means, because this is early days, pioneering of software. Only in 1980, the U.S. Congress created a law that says software code can be copyrighted. Okay, so anyway, in 1985, Richard Stallman created GNU Emacs first release and borrowed code from Gosling Emacs, removed the Mark Lisp, which is not real Lisp, and Richard Stallman created the real Lisp, Emacs Lisp. So he coded everything. Yeah, so it's actual Lisp from the ground up. GNU Emacs, 1985. Okay. Okay. So that's basically it. So then the Gosling Emacs got sold to Unit Press, and Unit Press tell Richard Stallman to stop giving out our software free, because back then the copyright is kind of still fuzzy, but but Richard Stallman is into the software freedom thing. So Richard Stallman just removed all the code from Gosling Emacs. Okay. So anyway, that's the outline of the history. So in the end, if we say, can we say, Richard Stallman created Emacs? Yeah, I think it's reasonable. Okay, reasonable. If you want the whole history, then you have to mention all these people. In the beginning, there's Teco, there's Tmax, and then Gosling Emacs, and But if you want to just say who created Emacs, it's reasonable, I believe, that Richard Stallman did, because he did two major things. One is he first merged, he became the main coder, merged all the Teco keyboard markers into one coherent whole. That's one thing. The second thing is after 4 years or 5 years, he kind of created Emacs from the ground up. He borrowed Gosling Emacs, then removed his code, and so in both cases, his project became very popular. So I think it's reasonable if he claimed, he created Emacs. Okay, of course there are significant contribution from all the other people. Okay, so many chat. So that's about Emacs history. So again, you can read my kind of what I wrote, my articles. Now next topic, I want to code some JavaScript. Let's see. Okay, so let it be short today. I want to code some JavaScript. Maybe not. Let me see. What's the question? Stream today look fancy. Yeah, because I have red light on. You see. Now, I have, if I turn off I have one bright light over there. If I turn that off, it's gonna be all red, because red light at night is very good for your eye. Okay, so happy hacking, yeah. I just got the professional classic. I love it. What do you love about it? Why do you, So happy hacking is interesting. It's a code, right? I claim, well, it's kind of a code. So one time, I asked the guy, what do you like about happy hacking? All these major problems, and he replied, well, so I mean, one of the question I asked, okay, so there's no arrow keys, there's no, it's a code, because when I say no arrow keys, then the happy hacking fans will say, you are wrong, there's arrow, you just have to hold down FN first. Fucking idiots. Obvious. When you say there's no arrow keys, of course you mean no physical arrow keys. But the code, they're just, you are wrong, but because you can hold FN, then there's arrows. Idiotic. So anyway, no arrow, no physical arrow, right? So I asked one of the fan, so what do you do if you're gonna play a game, video game, right? He says, well, I have another keyboard. Extremely idiotic. So in these people, so when they say they love happy hacking, they actually mean that they need two keyboards. One is for coding or whatever. Then if you want to play game, you have to use another keyboard. Extreme idiotic. I don't understand. No physical arrow keys. What you gonna do when you play games? I in that case I use a different keyboard. Fucking idiots. So yeah. So okay, you love the layout. So Eric S. Raymond, why are we mentioning him? Oliver, hello, the Kiwi guy. Oh yeah, so happy hacking, yeah, so in the back of happy hacking they have dip switches, which is kind of Asian kind of thing. That allows you to switch back to the delete to backward space. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Cheers. This is red wine with orange juice. I think we're not gonna code JavaScript because since we are just talking more popular stuff. Because if we code, then it's gonna be technical, which is a different audience. So there's a question: have you seen charybdis from the Basta keyboard? No? What is that? So let's see. Bastard keyboard. It's a name that is not, in the polite societies. So this is kind of a nerd website. Bastard keyboard. That's their company name or something. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I've seen that before. I suppose it's fun. So there are so many today. So yeah, so they they don't have much keys. Yeah. I mean, okay, it's useful. So one of the issue about this keyboard where they are like 60% or 50% is that, of course, I don't like it, okay? I think all these 40%, 50% are crap. Okay, crap. But however, now, because I've been using the Kinesis Advantage keyboard, which do not have the function keys, it's got 70 keys, something, okay? So I started to get used to no function keys, no physical function keys. And what happens is that I realized you just get a keypad, like those people who like happy hacking. Oh, but you need another keyboard. So when you buy a keyboard, first of all, it depends on how much money you have, right? There's 100 to 400 to 500. For example, Glove 80 is about 350 or 400, fantastic. And happy hacking, I mean, the ultimate hacking keyboard too is like close to 300, 250 or something. So anyway, my point is here is this. when you buy a keyboard, when you shop for a keyboard, like you decide which one you're gonna want, there are so many choices, right? So there's one question, you're gonna just get one keyboard, that's it, or you can allow to have some peripheral, okay? So if you don't mind to have a peripheral, then you could, it's kind of optimal to get one of these 30% or 40% or 50%. Then what you do is you get a keypad, programmable keypad. So I have several, for example, examples. So you buy one of these. That'll give you all function keys, or arrow keys, or number pad keys. So so for example, that's what I do. So I have Glove 80 here. Glove 80 has lots of keys, like 70 or 80. It's got function keys. But then I have the Ultimate Hacking Keyboard as a macro keypad, which is 70 keys by itself. So I got 70 keyboard macros. So that's great. But for you guys, you don't want to spend so much money, so you can buy a keypad. So you get two keyboards. One is like 40%, 50% or whatever of your choice. Then you have extra keyboard, okay, for the where is it? Programmable keyboard. Okay, so there are several choices. Yeah, fuck, where did it go? So keypad. Okay, so there are several choices. Depending on whether you use Photoshop or whatever. This Elgato Stream Deck, which is very popular, don't buy it. It sucks. It's like, I mean, it's not. I wouldn't buy it. It looks good. It looks fancy because it has display, but I rather go with some of the other choices. Okay, that's about that. Greenblatt is a correct spelling, okay? It definitely is a code, but Topper is great, okay? I'm okay without the physical arrow keys, okay? But the layout is mainly why I love it. Works great. Okay, why? So what are you gonna do when you play video games? That's a question. Okay, so I guess you play. Yeah, I guess you can use the WASD. Yeah, well. Okay, so maybe that's it for today. 40 minutes. Is there anything else? Hello, George. You late? We close shop now. George, you wanna talk about politics, about 4D chess? that's your thing. Where's my drink? Okay, I think that's it for today. Politics, well, it's pretty sad, the world, what's going on in the world. There's Ukraine war, there's a war in Israel, and today with Iran. Okay, WASD key. Have you tried the console package for Emacs? No. Haven't you watched enough of my videos? Like today, I don't use any other people's package, basically. Why? Because I've been coding Emacs Lisp for about 20 years. So it's more efficient if I just code whatever I need instead of looking into what other packages I need, their documentation, So have I used Consult? No. I don't know what that, and also the other thing is I'm getting old. I'm 55, okay? So most people, most programmers, when they are 40, they don't talk about programming anymore. If you are a good programmer, by the time you are 40, you are the CEO of something. You're too busy to talk about coding. Not like me. I'm kind of the nerd. So, and also, I'm 40 years old. I'm getting old, so I haven't been paying attention to what other packages, like what's the hottest package out there. I don't use it. I don't. So, but you can buy my package. Okay, so here is my packages. So let's delete the backup. Or single key press. You can see on the pink window. So all these my packages. That's basically all I use. So let me show you my alpha .emacsd alpha. So let me show you what I have in none. Okay, elfeed. So the only package I have installed other people's is elfeed, which lets you read. It's a blog aggregator, RSS, web feed aggregator. So lets you read blogs. But I haven't used it for I don't read other people's blogs. Not really. I just read, if there's an article, I go read it. I don't follow blogs. And these days, I don't even read any other programmer's blog. Like I talked about on Twitter, I only follow politics. I don't follow memes or any other programmer's opinion or any AI opinion. Most of the opinion on AI, artificial intelligence, whether they're gonna take over, they are shit. They are like idiotic, brainless, like they are grifters, or like they became popular because all the masses, they don't know things. I talked about AI multiple times. Okay, I think that's it. elfeed is good. Yeah, elfeed is very good. And Chris Whelan is one of the coder, Emacs Lisp coder in the Emacs Lisp community. I highly respect. There are few. So he goes by the name New Program, Chris Whelan. So I highly respect. He's a great coder, not just Emacs Lisp, but also C and stuff. But his style, his style and his preferences in code is different from mine. Okay, he's, I would say, the more classic, typical hacker type. So he's into C++, memory diddling. How do you diddle memory? Diddle bits. How do you program games? What does GPU do? GPU, that's his thing. I'm not interested in those things. I'm interested in mathematics, group theory, type theory, logic, proof systems, visualization of geometry. So it's different. So, okay, and the programming languages I'm interested is application languages. I'm not interested in bit diddling, C, memory, compile, crap. Okay, but he is more classic. His interest, is more kind of what I call industrial programmers. So these are industrial programmers. These are not engineers, not scientific programmers, not physicists, not chemists. They are not scientists. They are industrial programmers. So mostly it's centered around C, C++, Java, or business, that type. So our opinion will be differ on things. For example, I remember one time I asked him a question about, there's a change in Emacs about, let me show you, okay? So for example, you can actually see it here. So wait, you see there, lexical binding, okay? You see that declaration? That declaration, lexical binding, came out about 10 years ago, about maybe 2010, okay? That's new in Emacs Lisp. So with that declaration as a comment, because it's kind of a hack to fix it. So with that comment, Emacs Lisp will have lexical binding. So all the let, for example, all the let, it becomes lexical binding. If you don't have that at the top, then it's dynamic binding. Okay, so what's the difference? Again, so this is like technical computer language details. It's one of the things that this type of people, C++, memory diddlers, they love. And garbage collection, so-called, this jargon, garbage collection or no garbage collection. How do you do garbage collection? Which way? Rust. These idiots, industrial programmers, they are obsessed about this thing. Okay, so anyway, so the dynamic, scoping versus lexical scoping. Okay, so Emacs Lisp created this hack to have lexical scope. Let me tell you something interesting, okay, from my perspective. So what is the difference? Okay, that's a common question, right? Well, you can look up these people's writing. For example, go to Wikipedia. They'll tell you what's the difference between lexical scoping versus dynamic scoping, okay? I can tell you simply, dynamic scoping is the brainless one. It's the one, that's the most natural, easy to code, like the whole story of C and C philosophy. Whatever comes easiest, you just do it. That's dynamic scoping. And what does it mean? It means time-based, okay? So when you have a variable, it has a value, then you have the same variable. If the same variable occurs again, but at a later time, that variable's value takes over the previous same variable name's value. Time-based, okay? Which is the easiest to implement, okay? Which is the beginning 10 or 20 or 30 years of programming languages, okay? That's a dynamic scope. Lexical binding, lexical scope is, I think, first created by Scheme Lisp, which is what I call, what you see is what you get. Okay, so let's see. So you see this let block. So you see this let block, which goes from here to, quite long. Okay, so let's shrink it a little bit so you can see the whole. Okay, so anyway, it's quite long. So you can see it declares variables. So what does it mean, lexical scoping? That means what you see is what you get. That means this variable feeds buffer is only valid within this block of code. Okay? Not anywhere outside of it. What you see is what you get. Okay? Lexical scoping, which is more natural to humans, okay? And which is actually better. Okay, so, but what is the difference? Let me tell you this interesting thing. The difference is that there's no difference, okay? If you always write your function in a functional programming style, always, your function don't have side effects, okay? There's no difference between them. No difference. Do you guys understand? Okay? I'm talking to this C type of C++ type of idiots. There's no difference between them. So why these people makes a deal of it, big deal of it, dynamic scoping versus lexical? Because this type of people, C++, this type of industrial programmers, idiots, they don't program in a functional style. Their code always have like global variables or spaghetti code. They don't buy the functional programming stuff. That's why. Okay. I hope that's an interesting, dramatic take, which is also correct, by the way. Question from type 3 error. What error is type 3 error? Oh, that's interesting. I don't recall what kind of error is type 3 error. Have you ever do math in Emacs instead of Mathematica? I thought about it. You can't. There's no comparison. In Emacs Lisp, you can do. You don't have to compare to Mathematica. You just compare Emacs Lisp to. Actually, okay. Let me try to just directly say it. So Emacs Lisp, if you're gonna write some scientific program, doing some code in scientific programming or engineer involving a lot of math. Let's not even mention solving equations or integrals or matrices. Okay, so if you're gonna do any kind of math, Lisp is not suitable. Okay, it's much easier and better if you do it in JavaScript, in Python, in Ruby. Okay, in fact, you kind of need a specialized language like MATLAB, R. If you're gonna do heavy mathematics. Okay, so Lisp is like out of question. If you're really into doing math for engineering and physics and math, you need a specialized math language. Okay, so you don't even compare to Mathematica. You can compare to even JavaScript or Python. Let's not say Python, because Python do have lots of math libraries today since like 10 years ago because of the AI, because Google. But let's say Ruby or JavaScript, they both beat Emacs Lisp if you want to do anything math, just simple math. Let's say linear algebra, matrices. They beat Emacs Lisp by far. So what do you mean beat? Well, because it means much easier to do. Okay. Have you tried Maxima? That's one of the frequently asked question from the open source fanatics. Maxima. Maxima is the Asian. Maxima. I can tell you some story about it. Okay, Maxima is what Stephen Wolfram used about 30 years ago. Stephen Wolfram, the guy who created Mathematica, he's the master of Maxima, because he used it all day. He used it so much that his need went beyond what Maxima can do. Okay, so then he created his Wolfram language, his own version. Okay, kind of, that's a history. Okay, you can go to my website. So I have a lot. So let me talk about that. Okay, that's about it. 3 more minutes, okay, because it's 1 hour today. So you just search for Lisp and Wolfram. So you can see Lisp versus Wolfram language. You can see, I have a lot of articles. For example, this one, Lisp and AP are root in Wolfram Mathematica. So you can see historical documents that documents how Wolfram language are basically similar to them. This is Stephen Wolfram's own writing, documents about Lisp. He's talking about Lisp. How is it different from Mathematica or similar? Then there's APL. He's talking about it, and then I have also my own article, Lisp versus Wolfram language. I talked about this a few times if you guys have watched my past video. So, everything in Lisp, there's basically analogous in Wolfram language. Everything, syntax, symbols, how you call functions, how you write them, program n, proc n is same to compound expression in Wolfram language, everything. Atoms, arithmetics, head of the sex, everything, Boolean. So Wolfram language. Okay, so Maxima was a commercial package. It's written in Lisp. It's so-called computer algebra system. So it's a software to do mathematics, solve equations, multiply matrices, do derivatives, integrals. Okay, very old. Then one of the leader is Richard Feynman. Okay, so that's another Okay, so let me go to that. Let me show you. So go to xali.info, then go to search, then go to RSI Emacs, or Emacs Pinky. Okay, how to avoid Emacs Pinky? No. Famous programmers with repetitive strain injury. Okay, so this article, famous programmers who got hand pain, including Richard Stallman, including Jamie Zorinski, very bad. You know, that Netscape guy, ex-Emacs guy, very bad. And Ben Wing, very, very bad. His hand got fucked up, so he quit coding entirely for like 10 or 20 years. He basically stopped, ended his career. Okay, Ben Wing. John Osterholt, who created the TCL language, he's not an Emacs user, he's a Vim user, VI. But he also got crippled. He became a cripple. Anyway, so he started to use voice coding, you know. And then I asked the question, and Richard Feynman, okay. Richard Feynman is, I believe, the lead for some time, the lead coder of Maxima, okay, this guy. We talked, we exchanged a little bit, like in the 1990s. He's a big critic of Wolfram's Mathematica. Okay, he's a big critic. So, you know, I'm getting old, they're getting old, he's 77. So, yeah, Richard Feynman, he's at UC Berkeley. He's also one of the big Lisp, coders. Oh yeah, so he wait, I got confused. He worked on Maxima. I think Maxima later become Maxima. Yeah. So I don't know what's the story, but basically they run out of money, or bankrupt or whatever. Then they release their code and it become Maxima. Okay, so all the open source fanatics, they don't know nothing. I don't mean you, but a lot of it, because this is a frequently asked question. Ksa, what do you think about Maxima? Why do they ask that? Because Maxima is free. You don't have to pay nothing, and open source. But if you want to compare to Wolfram language, it's like no comparison. Like it's like shit. Okay. If you are a student who occasionally, want to do some matrices or do an integral, yeah, Maxima is great. If that's your career, if that's your job, solving mathematics, do equations, physics, engineering, no. Okay. Okay, that's it today. Thank you guys for watching. Pay me. If you like my stuff, pay. Okay, because money is what actually makes all these things go around. All the history, it's silly, but I realize that, it's silly to say, but all this history, which language became popular, why and how, it basically all came back to money. Money that propelled people. Money comes in many ways. Okay, it can be, it's basically money. Okay, some of them are like secret, like lots of things going on in politics. Why do we have war? Why do we have war in Ukraine, in Israel? Money. Money is talking, doing all the things behind. Okay, why am I doing live stream? Money. Well, actually, I get some donation from Wolfram research. Okay, money. Okay, so why do so many people like are fanatics of open source? Have you used Maxima? Have you tried this Sage Math? All the open source fans. Why don't you stop talking about Wolfram? Fucking, it's a proprietary. Fuck. Why don't you talk about Emacs, this common, this money? Why? Because this communist idea, is free. You don't have to pay. but then you have a vision like you are doing good for humanity. That vision today is splitting. It's getting USA is collapsing because of the social justice warriors, the equity, which has a lot to do with the open source, how it began. And in the past few days, we have the open source hyperland, controversy. Anyway, good night, guys. Okay, so if you want to pay me, just go to PayPal. Okay, the PayPal is my favorite thing. Amazon gift card, PayPal, or Patreon. xali.info. Thank you, guys. Bye, guys.